Now broadcasting from the Next Gen Conservative Studio in sunny South Florida, bringing you the latest in politics, current events, and pop culture. This is the Whitfield Report with Sam Whitfield.
Oh shit!
Oh, I like how
that's
you're
my
extending the
jam.
intro there.
Look, unironically, that fucking drum and bass line is
No,
so it's infectious.
You know, I know I shared this with you, but I don't think I've shared with the audience. When I first commissioned that piece, I asked for a mix between the Pretenders and Van Halen, not knowing at all what I was going to get with that. I mean, that's a hard combo to ask for because those are two very different bands. But that's what my guy came up with.
Whatever it is, it's good. It just gets down in me. I don't know. I'm like, I'm a music nerd. You know me.
Oh, as am I.
I was out running today listening to some fucking Howlin' Wolf and Stevie Ray Vaughan and any old thing.
Awesome. Anyway, folks, welcome to the show. And yes, we are going to be talking about boobs tonight, folks.
Let's fucking go.
Sort of.
Today's.
So just kind of jumping off the bat, I love how the Lauren Boebert thing has gained more traction than
I believe she's been ordained with the new you're dead naming her. Now she's known as Queen Boebert in the internet parlance. She's been given a title. Yeah. No, like, look, bro. Where's the fucking moral? Are you fucking kidding me about the moralizing? Get some heavy petting on a fucking date. Why are motherfuckers training night vision cameras on her? Who's the real fucking creep? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
you're at a theater and they're heavy petting. Yes, that's inappropriate. But is it front page news? And then, oh my God, it's scandalous. She wore a dress with a low cut top. Well, she's a young, attractive woman. Fuck you. Isn't that what feminism was about? Oh, all of a sudden, a woman does a thing and it's the end of the fucking world. Look, he got to second base. Who fucking cares, bro? Are you fucking serious? Moralizing on both? There's both sides moralizing about this. Shit.
Yes.
This fucking break, dude. She got felt up in the theater. Fuck you.
And also, I love how the Republicans are moralizing. Oh my God, she went out with a Democrat, and it's like,
that's called a reach around across the aisle, Sam.
Yeah.
But
listen, what do you think I had? What do you think I had to do in college? I mean, people knew I was in the college Republicans, right? But
damn right.
Still, sometimes you got to reach across the aisle.
At what point did you interview Ben Shapiro? Was that college?
No,
or
that
high
was
school.
That was my senior year of high school.
Based.
The funny thing of it is,
for the newer audience members, that Sam has interviewed Ben Shapiro for real, not a joke.
Yeah, I've interviewed Ben Shapiro. I also interviewed this guy named Guy Benson at Town Hall, who a few years ago came out as he was like the first gay Republican to kind of come out before Dave Rubin even did it. He's the OG. So to anyone who accuses me of being homophobic, I was friends with gay Republicans before Milo was even LARP.
I don't even look. I got labeled the face of homophobia or whatever in America by like Pink News, I think it was. And I went in the comments because of the straight pride parade that I went to, right? They took a picture of me looking like a neckbeard, like I am, a big lumbering oaf, holding a sign that said "Make normalcy normal again," which I still think is very clever and funny.
Yeah.
I didn't make the sign. Somebody literally just handed it to me, okay? And I thought it was so funny that it was worth holding up. We all held them up. It was great. And they all had some shit to say about me, and they called me a homophobe. I talked to NPR. I did an interview live on the air with NPR, and I was very upfront with her. She's like, "Why are you here? Is it because you hate gay people?" And I was like, "No, it's because as a father, I would prefer that my son is exposed to less of this in public places. And also, like, we're out here, representing, like, having morals and virtue more than anything else. You don't see anybody engaged in, like, bondage behavior here. All we're out here saying that straight people exist and it's okay to be straight." And they thought it was the end of the world. And we had fucking Pepe's, and the grand marshal of the parade was fucking Milo. Like, obviously the whole thing was a fucking joke, but they had a serious shit to say about
Yeah.
me. So I went in the comments and I said, "Look, here's a real problem with gay culture. Do you know that I just marched right next to 2 gay guys? Do you know why?" And they were holding hands. Do you know why? Because they got kicked out of fucking LGBT Pride Boston because they're Trump supporters. And they asked if they could march with us. And we said, "Of course you can march with us."
My
Whatever. Who
my
fucking cares
barber.
if you're fucking gay? But corporate America really wants the gay dollars, but did they do anything where it really counts? Probably not.
Nope.
You
I wrote I wrote an entire article on that this summer that
It's
I
all a
think you
front.
read it, and
They
boy,
make money.
and
They
boy,
make money off of gay people, but they don't give much back. They put their pride
no,
flag up and they think they're the fucking hero of the universe. And everybody's sick of seeing it now too, like normal people.
yeah, even the
Gay,
normal
yeah.
gays I know are sick of it, which is
It's over
I
the
mean, which
top.
is
It singles them out. Like do people not realize there's gay people that just like want to be a normal person and they like dick or whatever? Because that is a
well,
thing. They do
yeah,
exist. I don't know if
well, and
people say that's the silent majority of gays. I don't know if that's the case, but I definitely know some of them, right? You encounter them up here at least. It's kind of whatever.
yeah, shit. I've encountered them in Florida too. They don't talk. And the only reason
Yeah, they're not out there running around in a Speedo with dildos swinging them around. They find that shit kind of distasteful and embarrassing, if anything, like a normal person does.
you know what's funny is when I was in college, I actually had more gay people like coming up to me in schooling and kind of doing they do the look around thing just to check and see that no one's there. And I've seen a few of them be like, hey, I you know don't tell anyone, but like I secretly voted for Trump, or something like that. It's like they're okay with everyone's okay with them being gay, but being a Trump supporter, or them saying, "Look, I'm gay, but I don't approve of all this commercialization."
Well, I got a topical news story you might not have had on the docket. We can get back to Boobert real quick, but you want a quick anecdote that happened to me today? It's interesting.
Sure. All I was gonna say about Boobert too is it is fucking hilarious that the people in Colorado, which keep in mind Colorado is a weed country, and it's also
blue as fuck.
It's also where all of the gay pride like drag shows are.
Yep.
For those people to be complaining about Lauren Boebert vaping and also saying that she should have more decorum, the hypocrisy is laughable.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now look, is there a little bit of shame for it? Yeah, getting caught fucking heavy petting in a theater. Yeah, there's a little like shame, you know, you a little bit of a hoe. No doubt. Especially she's recently divorced, as I understand it. But at the same time, she's still young and looks good. She's very confident senator. Or congresswoman, sorry. And I haven't seen anything that I've disliked in terms of her politics. I'm kind of more liberal on some things than I guess a lot of people are. Again, maybe it's
Yeah, so
I'm sort of a rock and roll hanger on guy, so I've been around big parties and seen a lot worse than what she was doing.
yeah, I'm
And
sure.
I just don't think. Yeah, there's a little shame in getting caught. There's a little like you shouldn't probably be doing that in public, but is it the end? Like they made it this huge news story, right? Until it got dethroned by another news story.
The fact that like that became headline news is the fact that it became headline news is it just shows what a slow news week it's been. That's fucking headline
As a
news.
grown man,
Oh, but
I'm
we
gonna
have a
say
missing.
but my favorite is they kept showing the pictures of her in her dress from like up above, and it's like, yeah, okay, she looked good, all right, yeah. Is that what you're trying to
Yeah,
prove? Or is the left slut shaming? What's going on? You know,
yeah. I
are
mean,
we in the twilight zone? Is this what this is? Like, what the fuck?
well, I mean
Who cares if she fucking wore a low cut dress? She can fucking pull it off, right? If
the
AOC wore a low cut dress, I wouldn't think it was a big deal either. In fact, some of the things they say about AOC, I don't fucking care. The shit she wears and stuff and acting sexy on Instagram. Who fucking cares? She's a hoe. We all know she's
neither
a hoe.
neither do I. I mean,
You know,
some people have.
hoes deserve representation in Congress. Actually, I'll say that they're a demographic of this country. God damn it! Somebody has to represent the bubble-headed hoes, and who better? What is a more bubble-headed hoe than AOC? You riddle me that, Batman.
we, you know what we did. I would love Kurt Doolittle's take on this.
No, but me and Shmuley kind of predicted this years ago in like a Discord server, just talking shit, right? Because we say weird shit. And we said, like, when AOC got big and then Ilhan and the squad, it was like, oh God, it's become like Pokemon. You got to have your woman represent your interests. And then Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert came around and they kind of fit that, like, I choose you, MTG. You know? And so I don't
Yeah.
care that she got felt up in a theater because that's why we picked her. Let's be real about it for a second. We needed some bubble-headed hoes to combat the bubble-headed hoes on the other side. So if a bubble-headed hoe gets felt up in the theater, who gives a fuck?
Well, the Babes for Trump thing back in 2016. Not many people know this, but like I was one of the behind the scenes guys, at least on Twitter, like promoting that hashtag and making it big in 2016. Like
Sam's a mover and a shaker.
No, I mean I was kind of like
That's why I like him.
I was well. That was around the time when the right was like flipping out because Donald Trump. It was revealed that he had like affairs with like two playmates back in the 90s, and I'm like, you know what? We should actually like use sex appeal to our advantage instead of running away from it like the RNC forced Herman Cain to do back in 2012. Right? Remember Herman Cain was going to like run against Obama, and then it was revealed that he had had like an affair with his like secretary or something for 30 years almost. It was like a long term.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Boobert got dethroned on Twitter almost right away by these very super serious I should give a fuck accusations about Russell Brand. And there's a connection here that I'd like to get to, but let's talk about Russell Brand first before we make that connection because it's so fucking obvious. Russell Brand, okay, Hollywood guy, right? kind of known as a bit of a playboy. Married Katy Perry. Is known to sleep around with women. Is a bit weird, eccentric, off. It's heard the story before. I've heard the story with Johnny Depp. I've heard the story with fucking Marilyn Manson now.
Yep.
Okay. Guys who everybody knows are a bit on the and not rapey side, you know, but like have tastes. Oh, Marilyn
Sure.
Manson. Marilyn Manson's into bondage. Are you shocked, Sam?
No, you mean to tell me the guy who had like bondage-esque, stuff in his on his album covers is into bondage? I'm shocked. And we lost Max's. Oh,
Sorry, my son came in and told me the video game didn't work because he ran out of time before bedtime.
no, it's
I'm gonna give him. He wanted 5 minutes, and then I was like, "Okay, 5 minutes." And he was like, 5 minutes, and I was like, 10 minutes, and he was like, 10 minutes, and I was like, "Okay."
He's learning the art of wheeling
The art
and
of the deal.
dealing.
Yeah.
So,
That's how you do, though, right? You know, I'll give him his fucking 10 minutes for being so smooth. But I apologize for the interruption to the
No, I'm not upset with you. I was just like, oh shit, did the feed go? I thought it was on my end, but no, as it was,
and then the Chad dad move is that I add 15 minutes.
very Chad. And the Chad move is that you're doing that from your computer, I'm assuming.
Out of the phone. It's, his family controls on it. You can set the screen time, and he runs out simply because sometimes he'll set up his game, and then he has the action figures because it's a Lego game. So he's got all these like Hulk and Iron Man and shit, and he has them in the game. He plays Lego Marvel, and he just acts out the shit from the game with his figures. So he's not even really playing the game half the fucking time anyway. So he only gets 2 hours, so giving him an extra 15 minutes.
Based.
Even though it interrupted the show,
Nah, that's cool. Anyway, though, Russell Brand.
Russell Brand. So, okay. These accusations come out. They're apparently very old. And it says even in the article where the accusations come out that the girls did it mostly because of the influence that he's found recently, which I find suspicious. And I tend to be very skeptical of all of these kind of Me Too allegations, whether it be Johnny Depp's, as we kind of saw in court play out, very ugly, whatever you think about the outcome, right? Marilyn Manson's is about to probably get pretty ugly as well.
Video game not working.
It should work now, buddy.
No, video game not working.
Go tell mom. Sorry about that.
Nah, no problem.
I think he just needs his mom to log him in back in because it kicks him out, so he can't play anything.
Okay.
Kind of locks it after 2 hours, And then one of our accounts has to log in and give him back. I thought I could do it from the phone, but
I guess that's the one disadvantage.
Modern age dad shit. Apologies, chat.
Yeah, no. Thank God my parents, weren't as tech savvy with that. So,
my parents. I'll tell you the thing. My parents, at one point, my mom took away all my video games and banned them from the house for years. And I'll just sneak off to find friends. I didn't really like the kid, but he had all the video games, so we all made friends with him. We called him Gay Bum, and that's legitimately it. His last name, I'm not doxing because it's a guy I haven't seen since I was like 12. But his name was Rummery, and we called him Gay Bummery, and then it just shortened to Gay Bum because he was such like a freaky weirdo. But he had a Windows 95 PC. He had Super Nintendo. He ended up getting Nintendo 64. He had Sega Genesis. And we go over and play Dungeons and Dragons over there. All the nerd shit, right? So we put up with his weirdness to take advantage of all that shit.
Yeah, we all had the one weird kid in our group.
But the
So-
banning of the video games, because it was poisoning my mind because the TV told her to, didn't stop me from playing video games. And also playing video games didn't turn me into a murderous psychopath as she had predicted.
my
Interestingly enough.
my
At least,
dad
nothing that you can prove, chat.
my dad was
I might look like Charles Manson.
my dad was one of those parents who was really afraid of the influence of Grand Theft Auto, Vice City when it came out, but like, I turned out fine.
So okay, the accusations I'm skeptical of, but they could be true. I'm not going to deny that they could be true. And people leapt to his defense. But the reason people leapt to his defense is because we don't trust the fucking media. And that's what it really boils down to. Both of these stories. Boobert Gate, right? Oh my God. And fucking Russell Brand. Here's the thing about this media. If Russell Brand is this prolific sex predator, as now you're claiming, you've known about it. And you helped him get work until he said things that were politically inconvenient. So even if he is a scumbag, you're still scumbags. And you're scumbags for using Boobergate. And the question you always got to ask yourself is what else is going on that they're not fucking talking about?
Well, that's the whole.
And that might be the government shutdown shit. I don't see as much about that as I do about Lauren fucking Boebert.
Well, that's the whole thing too. And
just don't trust the media.
Well,
So
so
basically
right.
the
So I have a few things on. So what irritates me about the Russell Brand thing, and
Go ahead, Sam. Go on.
it's the same. It's the same thing that pissed me off about the Hugh Hefner allegations
Right.
a few years ago. Is right. Hugh Hefner, like 2 years ago, Hugh Hefner has been dead for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
And yet 2 years ago, all these allegations came out, and there was a whole big documentary series that came out, like detailing.
And what really was Hugh Hefner's crime in the eyes of feminism is that he, as a gentleman, really enjoyed breasts. Really, that's he built his entire empire. Because like you look at Playboy, ladies and gentlemen, in the olden days when Hugh Hefner was publishing it, you might see a bush, but you didn't actually see a pussy. You saw tits. Focus.
Yeah, that was
it was and tasteful usually.
Well, and
like,
that
was the whole point. It was a gentleman's magazine, so to speak.
Yeah, well, and as
fat material goes, compared to going on Pornhub and look at like 3 midgets shitting on a fucking Asian lady or whatever. And that's all you had back in the day. And you might get your hands on a Penthouse, and that's a bit more explicit, right?
Yeah.
But like that was a time, and he built his career off of that. And his was much more tasteful than Penthouse and all those other magazines. That's why it was so much more successful. It was glamorous, and people wanted to attach themselves to it. And obviously, he was into multiple women because that was his whole bit.
Well, and my whole point was
gentleman of the olden variety.
My whole point with that though was right. If they had years when he was alive to allege all this shit, but they waited not one year after he died. They waited 5 years to allege all this stuff when he couldn't defend himself. You want to know what his other big crime was? Guess who Hugh Hefner was friends with?
No.
Take a wild guess.
Epstein?
Nope.
That would be a reasonable one to be a little upset about.
That would be a reasonable one. But who do you and I both deeply admire? Who also?
Is he a Trump guy?
Well, he's the ultimate Trump guy, actually.
Fair enough. Yeah, he would be. He's like I say, he's a gentleman kind of guy.
Yeah. The fact
eccentric, classy, I like tits kind of gentleman, and that's a variety of gentlemen you can be. It's not really my scene, but I respect.
Well,
it.
No, they Well,
I know
no,
you were into that kind of thing. You used to tweet out all the old centerfolds and shit, right?
all of the all of the allegations that came out like 2 years ago. One of the things that they tried to shoehorn in about Hef was, oh, and by the way, he was friends with Donald Trump, so therefore
Yeah, right.
he's bad
Everything
too.
he did is bad now. No, to some degree, like the left should respect him for what he did towards the kind of sexual empowerment of women revolution deal, right? But they don't. They can throw all that, like his contribution to that particular fucking field is actually not on our side. You know what I mean? In terms of
But
if you're culturally conservative, right?
yeah, but going
He
back to
built a
the
pornography empire.
yeah, going back to what I was saying though, it does tie
Yeah.
back in because right, the Russell Brand thing, those are old allegations that
Right.
should have been. If the women were serious,
It
they
just
should have.
makes you question the media. Even if he did it, it makes you question the media, right? Am I just wrong in that?
Yeah,
Their
yeah, no,
motivation. Why is it now? Even like you could question that about all of the fucking shit they do. Because like Jeffrey Epstein, they all fucking knew. The general public didn't know who Jeffrey Epstein was until he got arrested, and they found out.
well,
And they instantly never forgot his name, including when he fucking killed himself, as most people don't believe that he actually did, right? I could, we could talk about that till we're blue in the face, the theories about it, right? But at the end of the day, people didn't know who he was until he got arrested. But all the rich and powerful people, all the media people, they did, and they knew what was going on that fucking island to some degree or another. And they just allowed
well,
it until they didn't anymore. And so you got to ask yourself, why didn't they anymore? What was it? Like his time had come, his usefulness was up, or some
so
crazy fucking shit that we'll never know about. Who did he cross? And it's the same thing with Russell Brand. Who did he piss off behind the scenes that we'll never know about?
right. So that, but there's more to this, Max, that you might not know about.
And with Hugh Hefner, I would say even though he's dead, it's not about who he pissed off so much as that they could fucking feed on his corpse and use it to prop up their fucking social justice narrative.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what they did with him.
Yeah, of course. Disgusting.
Yeah. Now, there's another angle to the Russell Brand thing which I hadn't considered until I actually saw it. But this is pretty interesting. So Russell Brand is probably he's the top guy on Rumble, the platform which we're now streaming on, actually.
Sure. He's definitely one of the earlier adopters of it too, in terms of bigger names.
And so Chris Pavlovsky actually tweeted out today, and I'll show you that Rumble received a letter from the UK Parliament basically threatening to shut down their service.
No Rumble in the UK. Yeah, this is wild, man. I understand that the UK justice system is different, but like the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law, I'm pretty sure is across the pond too.
Yeah.
This is wild. So the government is actively persecuting Russell Brand. Now, see, here's the thing. I was never a big fan. He's more into conspiracy stuff than I like, and he's actually a communist. If people didn't know, or he's come a little more towards like our side of things on cultural stuff lately, and the degradation of society based on like feeding garbage into it. And that's probably and the vaccine stuff. He's very adamant about the whole COVID thing, and that was a step too far. But if we're to believe that all of this is true, we're also to believe that the media sat on this until, as they said themselves, he was inconvenient, and now the government pounces on it to suppress this man. You can't. Basically, they're saying Russell Brand can't stream in the UK.
Not just that, Max. So let me actually read this letter for the audience in case you're listening on audio. So this is the statement that Chris Pavlovsky put out. So today,
I'm gonna mute out so we can get this like clear, because I'm actually, this is concerning, right?
So yeah, Chris writes today. He says, "Mm-mm. Today we received an extremely disturbing letter from a committee chair in the UK Parliament. While Rumble obviously deplores sexual assault, rape, and all serious crimes, and believes that both alleged victims and the accused are entitled to a full and serious investigation, it is vital to note that the recent allegations against Russell Brand have nothing to do with content on Rumble's platform. Just yesterday, YouTube announced that based solely on these media accusations, it was barring Mr. Brand from monetizing his video content. Rumble stands for very different values. We have devoted ourselves to the vital cause of defending a free internet, meaning an internet where no one arbitrarily dictates which ideas can or cannot be heard, or which citizens may or may not be entitled to a platform. We regard it as deeply inappropriate and dangerous that the UK Parliament would attempt to control who is allowed to speak on our platform or to earn a living from doing so. Singling out an individual and demanding his ban is even more disturbing given the absence of any connection between the allegations and his content on Rumble. We don't agree with the behavior of many Rumble creators, but we refuse to penalize them for actions that have nothing to do with our platform. Although it may be politically and socially easier for Rumble to join a cancel culture mob, doing so would be a violation of our company's values and mission. We empathetically reject the UK Parliament's demands. So that's the letter, and I want to
Based.
I want to make something specific.
Oh, big. Oh, hold on. Big props to Rumble, who has graciously hosted our show with all the ridiculousness that we've ever done. Completely fine. And they even hosted Cringing Over Coffee for me the other day. No problem.
Yeah,
This is a good platform. And this is an important topic because what we're really getting to now is a point of no return, really, where the government just gets to say you don't get to speak in our country anymore.
it's not just Russell Brand though that they're threatening, Max. They're threatening to shut down the entire platform in the UK.
And Rumble says fuck you. And that's based.
Meaning that all of us would
good
be cut,
job, Rumble.
Would be cut up. Yeah, based. So
unfortunately for any of our fans in the UK, this might be you might have to seek out Spotify or some other means of watching the show. But I stand with Rumble's decision here. I think this is one of the most base things a bigger company could do. I'm impressed to the level of like when Josh from Kiwi Farms hosted the New Zealand shooter video, much to the chagrin of law enforcement, on the premise that this was news and it was free speech, and told the Aussie government, I think literally, to suck his dick. Pretty sure that's what he said.
Based.
And this is up there. Yeah, this is pretty good. They're basically saying shut us down in the UK. We think he has a right to speak. And you don't get to decide who gets platformed at all. That's pretty serious, you know?
I would certainly hope, because I do know that we have a few Brits that do tune into this program, whether that be on Spotify or iTunes or even on Rumble. I would deplore I don't know how politics works over there, but I would deplore any of our British friends to please reach out to your representatives and tell them that this is bullshit. So, or bollocks, or whatever the proper terminology is for you Brits out there. Please let them know that this is rubbish. There we go. I think that's the proper term.
Rubbish, bollocks, if you will.
But yeah, so
bloody awful. You got a license to speak if you've been accused of a crime there, eh? you.
Yeah, I don't think people realized just how accurate the movie V for Vendetta would become. Um, you know, but that. So I mean, that's the other interesting thing about the Russell Brand thing is now they're using the Russell Brand allegations to try and shut down other people
Of course.
who don't, who like I don't know Russell Brand, uh, and yet they're trying to shut us down by just because we're on the same platform essentially. So
Yeah, we're losing reach just by factor of he got accused of a crime.
yeah,
Accused in the media, not even I believe legally or at some point before he even got charged legally, he might have been since then, is when they shut him down
yeah,
on YouTube at the very least. So you're not allowed to make money if you're accused of a crime anymore. But again, like, why now? What's going on? I think there's a lot to look at, like the fucking
yeah.
budget thing. Trump, is obviously being suppressed in a similar manner, maybe even to a greater degree, being like lawfared out of existence. If they can help it, they're gonna damn well take him out. Telling Russell Brand he can't speak in a whole country, sure, why not? And he's a
They
citizen of that country. So obviously the UK is Big Brother now. Obviously we got social credit scores. Obviously, an allegation is a fact, and we should just take away his ability to eat.
well, and now the radicals are trying to shut down Elon Musk because
Of course.
he bought Twitter. And listen, Elon, that doesn't excuse the fact that your platform banned Atomic Denny and did all this other stupid shit.
No, they brought
But
in some pretty draconian hate speech stuff recently, but whatever. This is another fish for another kettle, right?
but even so, they're still trying to cancel Elon because he's
Of course.
still and that and so that
You're never pure enough.
nope.
Never.
And hell, now they've been going after Walter Isaacson for even doing his biography now, which
Why take just an inch when you can take a mile?
which go which my recommendation for this week, go pick up a copy of the Elon Musk biography if it's not sold out in your bookstore. So
Right on.
but yeah,
I'll probably pick that up. I've been just out doing shit, man. The internet can rot your brain. You look at news too long. I just think when I see stuff like that like kind of transcends like boobs, boobs, or fucking these allegations against a guy that like they I was getting it before. They all kind of knew was a weird, sexy, fucking pervert kind of rock guy, right? That's his whole
yeah.
image. That's his whole fucking image. Of course he was having weird sex or whatever. And so if it's beyond the pale, if he's like having sex with like underage girls, yeah, that's bad. I'm not going to defend that. But like if that's real, if that's a true fucking thing that happened, I'm not going to defend that. However, I just question the timing. I question, well, how long did you guys know about this then?
Well, I mean, it's bad, obviously, but it was also allegedly 16 years ago.
Yeah, or something crazy like that.
Okay, and I'm not great at math, but like clearly, if the girls were 16 years old 16 years ago, they're well, legal now. So,
It just seems weird. Who cares that he fucking doesn't like the vaccine? You got to be a big brother government. Like the UK has gone off on some shit, man. It's starting to look like Clockwork Orange for real.
yeah, well, like I just
Or some
said,
kind of fucking cyberpunk Big Brother dystopia,
Well, like I said, V for Vendetta has literally become a reality. In our world now. So
Yeah.
um,
Well, but average people. This is what I'm saying. My story for that, right? Just real quick. I went to the local store. I was picking up a drink on my walk. Right. I'm standing there. The guy ahead of me, he's like, asks the clerk, "Hey, living in this town, how is it?" And he says, it's all right. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. I like it here. And he's like, oh, have they been dropping off all those immigrants? Because that's been a thing, right? They're dropping off a lot of immigrants in Massachusetts
right.
because New York don't want them anymore. But not my town so far. And it was just interesting fucking hearing them talk about this so frankly, like they're worried about it because they bring crime and all this fucking other shit. And a lot of times they're just dropping them off in towns and letting them fucking roam free with like a couple $100 in their pocket and Section 8 voucher.
Interesting.
It's happening all over Mass. It hasn't been us yet, but I'm sure we'll get hit. Sure, why not?
I mean, it's even happening a bit here in Florida, but
Yeah. Martha's Vineyard is safe though, guys. Don't worry.
oh yeah.
That doesn't tell you anything. I mean,
So
there isn't us versus them if you haven't been picking up on what's been going on.
I mean, not only
And
is
they
there
hate you. They hate you. You know, that's why they hate Donald Trump. That's just like he said. That's not a bullshit, man. That was one of the truest things he ever said.
Very true. Yeah, the us versus them mentality is not only is it out there, but like it's basically staring you in the face. How can someone not see
Bitch
it?
slapping you.
It's so blatant that if you don't see it, you're literally in denial. And a lot of people are. You
Yeah.
know.
Or they don't want to fucking do nothing. You know, I was discussing the problems with policing in a conversation earlier with like Dip in our Gilded server. If anybody's interested, you can check it out. There's links to there publicly. You can find it somewhere. I'll give it to you, whatever. And we were talking about policing, and like what I see is the problem with policing is there are good cops, right? And I'd say they're a minority, but they exist, not a small minority. Like there's a lot of good cops out there. And then there's a lot of like bureaucratic, mediocre cops, right? And then there's bad cops. The mediocre cops, and to some degree the good cops, don't do anything about the bad cops because of the bureaucracy. And that's a large part of the fucking problem. And the bureaucratic cops are lazy, right? And so they fucking don't do a good job because they're incompetent because they don't give a fuck. They don't want to take a report. It's an extra paperwork. They want to get their fucking donuts. That's not a meme. Cops sitting around eating donuts outside a fucking donut shop is a fucking real thing, right? They're lazy, complacent.
That's actually something that that Ice Cube mentioned in his interview with Tucker Carlson. Is a lot of people misunderstood fuck the police when it came out. It wasn't like every single cop. They were talking more about the bureaucracy of
Well, because it's not all cops are bastards, and unfortunately, like we live in a messy world, and so yeah, sometimes a good cop probably looks the other way, while a bad cop does something fucked up. And a lot of times, a cop that means well is just lazy or just doesn't care. He wants to just get home, so he doesn't take the extra mile, and it causes somebody some extra fucking problems. Or he looks the other way when this racist asshole fucking beats a guy up in front of him or something. He knows that guy's actually racist because there's a few of those, right?
yeah.
I don't think it's as many as BLM would like you to believe.
No.
But it certainly happened a time or two. Rodney King was a good example.
Well, hell, if BLM were right about cops, I mean, the cops that would be patrolling the cops that patrol my neighborhood on a regular basis would just be like drive-by shooting people like every 5 minutes, right? Like
Right.
you would just have cops just like killing people randomly all of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly that doesn't,
And a
clearly
lot of
that's not the
times,
case.
if you put yourself in the split second heat of the moment, a lot of even the shootings are kind of justifiable.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing cop porn people don't want to admit. I call it cop porn, bad cop porn.
Yeah. Well, like how much that's the other interesting thing, kind of food for thought, is like how many, like I would be curious what percentage of the police footage we see versus the stuff that we don't, like what don't we see? Because we probably don't see the stuff generally that actually is justified publicly. We only see the only thing that makes headline news anymore is cops being the absolute worst, right? But we never see police like actually breaking up like a drug deal or helping someone or doing something that's actually good. So yeah. Max stepped away for a second. So while Max is off the microphone, let me take this opportunity to once again I published a book back in July, Shadows of Deception. Still selling copies on Amazon, even in mid-September. We're still making money on it. Book 2 will be out in early October. It's looking like I'm still writing it, kind of putting the finishing touches on book number 2. Really appreciate everyone who has gone out and purchased Shadows of Deception, a John Ryder thriller. The link to buy the book on Amazon is down in the description below. As well as also, you can find my author page and buy my other, ebooks there. So I just want to thank everyone for going out and purchasing the book. Really appreciate it. And also, if you don't mind, please leave a 5-star review on Amazon or just review in general of the book if you happen to like it. And who knows, we might be doing a giveaway for an audiobook on stream tonight if you were so inclined. Also, while we're on the subject, locals.com/Whitfield Report. Haven't done much there, but I will be posting some exclusive content coming up if we get more people to sign up. It's $5 a month or $50 a year. And I'll probably be putting up some video game reviews and streams up there. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for supporting the show, folks, and really appreciate it. So yeah, American.
I ain't dead yet, motherfucker.
Oh, look, I never said you were dead. That was Shmuley that was saying that you were dead.
I was predisposed, sir. But I heard the ad reads. Is good
Yeah,
stuff.
and no, it gave me a perfect opportunity to promote the book.
Well,
So
I had one more topic that I wanted to bring up, and it's more in that kind of line of advice for young men, because we've always gone over like the basic first step, right? Which is to go out and talk to women and build up confidence.
yes,
But what do you do after that?
you learn clearly you learn Boebert them.
That's
Oh,
right. You just immediately start groping that titty. Ooh, baby. Ooh, yeah, No, that's not what you do. There's a moment for that. Yeah, there's a time and a place, young man. However, I introduce you to step 2 of the max plan on how to go from an incel to a sigma male to an alpha male, right? Real easy. Because step 2 is the practice girl. So y'all dive into this commitment thing because the internet is kind of extreme and modern culture follows after it, right? So every relationship has to be full in, right? Marriage right off the bat or nothing for these guys. That's a very extreme position, right? I
yep,
pose to you that you need a practice girlfriend. And now, don't take this wrong, ladies, because I'm not just speaking about sex, okay? Maybe not even at all. What you need to learn, young men, is how to engage yourself as a gentleman of this world with a little bit of respect for yourself in dealing with a woman in a relationship or romantic scenario. And you're only going to ever learn that by dealing with a woman, because women can be unpredictable, emotional. Maybe you have no idea what's coming next. Maybe you should, right? And that's me. I'm 40 and I've been married almost 2 decades. Okay. And I'm telling you, I still get caught off guard by like, I should have known that, huh? Damn, I'm retarded. We can say retarded on Rumble. I'm retarded. Yeah,
yeah,
I am. I'm retarded sometimes. And it's a learning process forever. But you ain't gonna ride the horse the first fucking time. You know what I'm saying? And like, look, if you go into these relationships, I'm not talking about a relationship even. I'm talking about go on dates or social situations with the women that you're talking to. The step 1 was make small talk, right? Say hi. Step 2
yeah,
is maybe fucking sit there and talk about, if you're in a college setting, you talk about the work that you're doing or whatever. If you're in a work setting, on and on. They talk about them more than yourself anyway. Ask questions. That this will
yeah,
lead you to a date. That's okay. You're not going to marry her necessarily. You probably might not even sleep with her, or maybe you will if that's what you want to do, right? But the point being is this isn't your necessarily forever soulmate. Oh my God, forever. It's just a girl that you have a relationship with no expectation of that, because these expectations you put upon yourself are why you're not getting girls in the first place. Just see where shit goes with a fucking woman, and
yeah,
maybe it leads somewhere great. I met my wife, and that's exactly what happened. But there was other girls I dated before that it didn't go so good. And if I had gone in with a lower expectation myself, I'm speaking from experience now.
yeah.
I would have suffered less heartache and caused less heartache over the years. And so
And
it's a simple methodology, I think,
to be fair, Max, I would
and
say
logical.
to be fair, Max, I would say that a lot of the things with I would say that a lot of these rules do also apply to uh women as well. I know that
Mhm.
most of our audience is men, but we do get a few women who tune in.
I say practice
Um
girl. I say practice girl for the same reason like the Boobert title, right? It's a
yeah.
bit of a clickbait. Like it catches people's attention because they get offended instantly by the thought of it. But the reality is, yeah, you need to learn relationship skills just like every other social skill.
Well, the reason I bring up that a lot of the same principles apply.
Experience matters,
the
gentlemen.
the the reason I say that a lot of the reason I say that a lot of these principles could apply to women too is uh, because I had a girlfriend in college who, uh, I didn't really. I went on a couple of dates with her. We we
Right.
got we got someone we got somewhat intimate, but it wasn't a whole big thing.
Ooh,
And
scandalous, Sammy. Scandalous. A good Christian
well,
man like you. I don't see a ring on that finger, Sammy. Huh.
well,
You
here's well,
need you need to humble yourself before the Lord, my friend.
so just to put things in perspective though too. I had only been here. So I had only been here. I had just started college. I only been in Florida for a year and a half
Oh, he's
at this
fresh
point.
meat.
So
Chat, he's fresh meat, ready for that picking.
so
Ooh.
I was still new to Florida, right? She
Wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, being like a fucking deer in the headlights, huh?
well she was super young too. She got the bright idea. Um, she got the idea that she wanted to that hey, I'm going to drop out of college and go to Tennessee to pursue a music career, and I'd like you to join me. And I told her no because I thought about it. And like I said, I hadn't been in Florida for that long. I had only been here for just over a year, so I was still new to the state. I had just moved to
I
Colorado.
I got one where I'm on the other side where I actually did almost exactly that. Like it fucked me for years.
Yeah, well, you don't. Well,
Because
also,
what you got to do, gentlemen, is you got to go on your Spotify, your Amazon after the show, of course, and look up Belle Biv DeVoe, because that girl is poison. You know what I'm saying, gentlemen?
oh yeah. Well, we'll see. Uh, I the thing of it is
That's why they look so pretty.
there are advantages to being crippled, and sometimes there are disadvantages. One of the things is sometimes an advantage and a disadvantage is that you have to plan things out long term, right?
Right. So your time preference is probably way better than a lot of people's. Now that makes sense. That's why
So
you get shit done,
it
Sammy.
well,
I get it now.
well, not just that, but it was like I couldn't even if I wanted to, I couldn't spontaneously just move and run away with her because what if the place that we were at wasn't uh big enough to
Wheelchair accessible, yeah.
yeah.
Or literally like you'd have to find a whole new set of like doctors and shit, right?
Yeah, shit. Yeah,
That's a
which
big that's a pain in the ass for me, and I am not in a wheelchair. So I can't
yeah.
imagine, right? Because you probably
And
had the same
so
doctors for quite a long time, right?
yeah, and in this case, I had, like I said, I had just gotten to Florida, so I was still getting established. I was still
Here,
getting
yeah.
established here,
Right.
right? Uh, and yet she wanted me to move all the way to Nashville, and I asked, do you know anyone? And like I was going through this whole thing of, well, what are you gonna do? Like, have you thought this out? And the answer honestly was no. I just spontaneously want to do it. So I had to say no, and we broke up. And
Maybe mine doesn't seem as bad as of an offer on the face of it, but basically the idea was to move to Michigan with her because I was music production and like I kind of knew like ICP and some of the people that produced out there, and she was hoping I could get a job with them, which didn't actually pan out that way because I didn't know them that well, you know. I fucking hung out with them a time or two. She thought it was this big deal, and I had thrown away my career up here where I was working like R&D for a corporation, you know, doing like lab shit like a nerd, you know, making good money. But I was young and horny, and followed that girl who was poison, you know, and it set me back several years as a man establishing myself in the world, and it put me in some bad places. I ended up homeless due to that one decision over time. Yeah, for a short period of time.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not saying I'm Mr. Perfect
No,
either.
I'm saying like, yeah, this is the two sides of the coin of what could happen. Because what happened with you is like you turned the girl down and then what? She left?
Yeah, what turned out is what happened was she left, and then she never I don't think she made it. Her whole plan, because she didn't know anybody in Tennessee, right? She had
Brilliant.
been
Genius.
she had been in like an indie band here in Florida, but she didn't know anyone in Tennessee, and I sure as shit didn't know anyone, really in the music industry. So
Sure.
her whole thing was, well, I'm pretty, so I'll just go to one of like the local
Happening hip
bars and
joints, yeah.
hope I'll get discovered or something
A
like
rat.
that.
They call that a rat in the industry, by the way.
And yeah, that didn't turn out too well for her, I guess. So
Rats usually don't have a good shelf life.
so uh
And oftentimes the famous people that they're ratting onto when they knock them up don't end up paying for the kid.
oh, I don't know if things got that bad for her,
No, I'm just
but
saying it's a story
no,
that
no,
has various degrees of what could happen to you, but that's like the worst one, right?
yeah, well, she fancied herself a young Stevie. She fancied herself like a young Stevie Nicks, I guess, and
Right. I mean, I did end up working in the music industry, underground like production and stuff in Detroit, but it took some like it wasn't those connections. I just kind of started doing it myself. And like
yeah.
I had fun and it was a good experience for me. And I had this cool Mustang because I had money, right, for my severance from my job. I bought a brand new 2003 blue Mustang stick shift manual, of course, like a baller. Because in Michigan, on a particular road called Telegraph Road,
Oh
it's
yes.
it's like the longest road there fucking is, basically, and there was no nighttime speed limit, and we would just fucking baller that shit down 110 miles an hour past cops sometimes. Brand new Mustang, basically right off the fucking line at the factory. That was my baby. Unfortunately, because I picked a poisonous girl, I lost my baby. Y'all feel me? And you gotta be careful with your commitment is all I'm saying. But you talk to girls, you feel out a relationship, and through that, you will in the feeling process start to see red flags a lot easier without
Oh
people having to
yeah.
slap you up in the face like an idiot. Because sometimes, man, you need to be slapped in the face like an idiot, and don't always just chase your dick. I know it goes without saying, but it doesn't go without saying.
No.
Sometimes your dick will lead you astray,
All well
young
also
sirs.
well also trust your gut too. And this isn't just for guys.
oftentimes trust your gut more than your dick is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we'll trust your gut over your dick, and over your brain too, because
Sometimes, yeah. It's real easy to convince yourself things are good when they're not too. I've
oh
ended
yeah.
in horrible relationships. Like I've actually been stabbed by a girl. That was fun. Um yeah,
I I haven't had I know a guy who has gotten stabbed by a girl.
that was my first girlfriend. That's how my first long-term relationship ended. But you know what? She wasn't always crazy and evil and whatever. And I learned a lot in the several years we were together and how to deal with women and specifically how to spot crazy ones. And I'm telling you, That's a useful skill. And you don't have to invest as much as I stupidly did in that. It's, hey, we're having fun. I'm just hanging out, enjoying the company of a young woman as a gentleman, looking for, yes, potentially someday a woman I could marry. But for right now, I'm a student. I'm working towards stuff. I'm building myself up. That's that Sigma male to alpha male grind set. You can totally turn it. If you can do Sigma male, gentlemen, then you can get chicks. I don't know why you stop at Sigma male. Especially if you're successful. You present yourself like you have a future, some confidence. And then take a girl out fucking to a movie. Take a girl out to the carnival. That's always a fun one. A random ass girl. Don't have to be a girl. You're not going to marry her. You take her to the carnival. Maybe you have fun. Maybe you win her a stuffed animal. Maybe then she's your wife 20 years later. Who knows? Maybe not.
What?
Maybe you never see her again.
Well,
what harm is it? You had a fun night at the carnival with a pretty young lady.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing with me too, is I lacked self-confidence when I was younger, because I would 90% of it is just at least for me, 90% of it is self-confidence, that and putting in a little effort to look nice.
No, but that's self-confidence too, right? Like, yeah, don't smell like shit. Like, is this not obvious to guys? Some guys it's not, Like,
yeah.
take a goddamn shower once in a while, slap on some deodorant. You ain't gotta be too fancy. I mean, Axe is a bit much, right? You gotta go a little higher end than that usually, but like,
yeah,
you don't gotta have like $800 cologne either.
I probably need to trim. I could probably trim my beard a little bit, but also, Max.
Hey,
and
me being Harry is part of the fucking charm with my wife, so I don't even fuck. I work for myself. I ain't got nobody to impress except maybe up here on the podcast, and I do the webcam just because everybody was doing it, and I don't really care. Yeah, I'm a big ugly Irish motherfucker.
So is that a?
I've been on the cover of CBS News, so who gives a fuck, right?
So no. I actually have to ask: the beard has never been a big thing with your wife, or with?
No, she liked when I was clean for sure, shaven when I was younger. But like that's always been my thing. And like, look, it's a long-standing thing with me and my family. Would always argue about my hair and beard because I was a metal kid from the 90s. The other thing they argue with me about, which is silly, was I wanted to pierce my ear. Back when it was like if you pierce the left ear, you're fucking straight. Little punk rock kind of thing.
Right.
And my fucking stepdad like disowned me about it. It was silly.
Well, we'll see. My mom's like, you need to trim your beard. It looks bad, and no chick is gonna go for.
My family, my uncles and aunts would pay me. I think at one point they paid me like $200 to cut my hair and keep it cut. But if I grew it out, I had to pay them back. Like this was a serious point of contention for me. Because I was just a long hair male kid. And I'm still to this day, hey, yeah, I'm ugly as fuck, but my hair is actually pretty good. Like, I have the hair of like a fucking 80s Dave Mustaine. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and there ain't no gray on my head. They're all in my beard, But I'm a dad. I'm 40 that's had a heart attack. So a few grays in my beard ain't shit. People want to say my hairline's receding. I assure you it's not. It's thick and full. And I have body and I use conditioner. Because as I gotten older, I've learned to appreciate that my nice natural curls really turn my wife on, brah.
Well,
but the beard, she's less of a fan of, admittedly, but she tolerates it. She has, I've told her if I never shave it again, she's okay with that.
Yeah. See, it's
my choice.
I've reached a point actually where women actually like my mustache. So
I'm sorry, there ain't enough fucking men today, and they call it toxic masculinity, and I call it being me from like 8 years ago. Like, what the fuck? all overnight, everybody grew vaginas.
Look, I actually
Comedy is dead.
look. I actually have someone in my comments back on YouTube actually pointed out because I used to take my shirt off when I did my Alex Jones impression, and I actually have chest hair, which someone pointed out. Wow, he's skinny, but he actually has
Yeah.
chest hair, and it's like,
Well, and the
yeah.
thing about chest hair, like there's like the meme that'll put hair on your chest, but that's actually real.
Yeah. No,
Like
it is.
like certain like manly events actually do make you sprout more fucking chest hair. That's not a fucking meme. That's like real. Trust me. I got hair on hair. If I'm not hairy on my head, bro, like I'm a big old fucking Irish dude, right? I'm fucking a big hairy guy. It's what I am. I'm okay with it. My wife even the other day used the term oaf. And I said, that's true because sometimes when I walk fast, I kind of lumber, right? So I'll give it that I'm a lumbering oaf, you know? I'm okay with this. It's okay to be who the fuck you are, right?
I'm laughing. I'm laughing because I can, like, even you sitting down, like I'm picturing you running, and I can see it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And then I tried to prove, I was like, well, I'm not a clumsy oaf, right? And I tried
no.
to do a high kick like I used to do fucking 15 years ago, and I did, but then the arthritis in my hip started acting up because I'm old, you know, and then I felt stupid for like a day just trying to prove to my wife that I could kick somebody in the head, which I still could do, but it would cost me dearly. Wouldn't be
Sadly,
worth it.
sadly, I can kind of, I can
But
kind
look,
of.
but look, there's a pride to that because I won literal championships in kickboxing and karate when I was a teenager with a left hook kick to the fucking side of the head, okay? And I
Yeah.
was determined to prove to her I'm still as young as I'm agile, baby. I'm not a clumsy oaf. I can kick in there. My arthritis. Oh God, help me. What have I done to myself like a retard?
Look,
I'm still learning too, gentlemen.
look, I have, I have hip dysplasia in one hip. It's not. It's not as painful for me at least as it is for some people, but you know, it's it's not that great. So I can certainly relate to the. But other than that, like I am, you know, for like the thing about me is for a skinny guy, like I'm not jacked, but I am. I've
But
got broad shoulders, and I
I'll
am.
tell you what it is. You put a little bit of bass in your voice. You talk with conviction. You know, you're
Yeah.
friendly. You're polite. You act like a gentleman.
Well, my.
And
Well,
then this is what I mean, gentlemen out there. If Sam in a wheelchair, if you want to laugh at Sam, whatever, he doesn't care. If he cared, he wouldn't be
I,
doing this
I've
fucking show. So
I've
like,
yeah, like I've said, like I've said before, I wrote the
but he's
Wyoming.
pulling tail. That's my point. He's pulling tail. So what are you doing wrong then? If you want to fucking laugh, that's my point, right? Make sure you got your game up before you fucking laugh because he can pull
Yeah,
game because he puts a little bass in his voice and fucking wears some nice clothes and takes a shower and fucking presents himself like a fucking good human being and he fucking listens to people. That's why he's a good interviewer on the fucking show. These are all skills that you can employ to find yourself having more and more successful relationships. The problem with women is they are ridiculously unpredictable.
they are.
And the only way to learn to predict them better is through experience. And also sometimes being a benevolent fucking guy, right? I guess that they do consider this toxic masculinity. But here's an example. Sometimes on some real serious shit, I will tell my wife the thing is an absolutely bad idea. Here's why, and here's what's going to happen. And then still let her make the decision to do it. Okay. Why?
Yeah,
Because of what I crave in this life, I guess, is Max was right. I got 2 of those today, Sam. Thank you for one. And Agent Dip, shout out. I got the other because he said Max was 100% right. And I didn't even read what he's talking about. I pinned it. I just pinned it. Max was 100% right, pinned. And then Sam was like, Max getting proven right again about Don Imus. Yeah, Don Imus, the first victim of cancel culture.
Well, also that is one topic I do want to dive into because
And
it
better,
really should
better,
be.
better to go out the hero like he did than live yourself to be the fucking Howard Stern, who's literally like an old man Joker now, a meme of himself.
How
Howard,
Howard's Howard because I guess the fact
coward Howard over there,
I guess the fact that
Mr. N-word fucking Stern himself.
Yeah,
Fart man. Let's take
Mi-
Fart man real serious, guys.
well, Mr. Also, let's get this is my favorite thing. He was talking out he was talking out like disrespectful Lauren Boebert is, and I pointed out, yeah, this was the guy who had Jen Jameson like writing a dildo or something on that
I
on
can
the
I can respect some of the trail that Howard Stern blazed in a sense, okay? But if you look at the content that he did it on, it's hard to respect that. Like I get it, he fought the censors, but for what? For throwing baloney at bitches' asses.
right. Well, but to
It's
go,
not high art, bro. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
but to go from
But he thinks it is. He's up his own ass so far that he thinks he can tell everybody else to not do exactly what he did, basically. That's what his take was on Russell Brand. Oh, it's
well
good that he's being censored.
my point was basically for the guy who had Jenna Jameson basically like doing simulated sex on his show
Right.
to
Or
all
or or had contests between retards asking them basic questions to laugh at them.
to all of the sudden saying that Lowen to basically calling Boobert a slut and saying that she
Mhm.
went
It's scandalous. She had boobs. Fuck you,
yeah.
Howard. Fuck you.
Oh she
You
oh she
moralizing piece of shit.
oh she has cleavage. Meanwhile, I had Jen Jameson finger herself 30 years ago. And
My wife doesn't like when I talk fucking anything like remotely dirty, but I have to be for in honor of Dawn Imus, I have to tell you what I think Dawn Imus would say, and it's that she has nice tits. And he'd have felt them up too.
that's not that's not even that egregious.
No,
Right?
that's a Don
Co-
Imus because he was still a gentleman. He was still a gentleman, but he called him like you see him. Hey, he was a single guy. I'm married. My wife might even be upset that I said it that way sometimes, but she knows. And
No, but
for the sake of comedy, it's true. She got a nice rack. She was showing him off at the fucking thing. Who fucking cares? Jesus Christ. Have her do the fucking centerfold of Playboy. If she was a Democrat, that's what they would do, by the way.
they would. No,
Meanwhile, John Fetterman is not a fucking disgrace in his sweatsuit because he's mentally disabled. How do you feel about that? They're changing the rule of the dress code because disabled people can't dress themselves. How do you feel about that, Sam? I'm putting you on the spot with that one, right?
You know what?
But I know how you feel about that.
It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that because I'm thinking that I'm thinking that my next book should be like a photo book that I title like unironically like the cripple like stuff. Like I used to have a subscription to GQ back in the day before they went woke, and they had like an annual like a quarterly style guide.
Right.
And I feel like I need to do a style guide for like cripples or something because
that's very funny actually. Yeah.
yeah, that would either that's the whole thing too. Is like I would do it purely for comedy, right? But like
Sam's style guide for the discerning gentleman cripple.
But yeah, like
and you got to start it with a passage from Jesus talking about cripples to make it
well,
even more
and
gentlemanly.
well, and like and and I understand.
Look, a gentleman can appreciate a nice rack, and Lauren Boebert has a nice rack. Is anybody look? You know me, Sam. I tell you like privately behind the scenes. Hey, some of the stuff your friends share about AEW is a bit creepy for me. Like I don't like the creep shots, right? Because it's just like a clip from the show, and it's like zoomed in on her ass. and it just feels weird. It feels voyeuristic. I get it. You guys like it. You're single. It gets you the fucking hard on. But like even I, with my kind of prudish older behavior as a married guy who behaves himself, cannot deny that Lauren Boobert's rack was aesthetically pleasing. And why are you mad about that? Did we start? Didn't it used to be universal that everybody liked titties? What happened? You can't even agree on titties.
Joe Walsh has an entire song about that,
Titties.
basically.
Fucking, I've been running around singing for before this happened. Chris Calico and Tech Nine. I know you're not a hip hop guy, but it's like an R&B mix. They're really talented. One of them's an opera singer. Anyway, and it's called Titties, and it's titties. Yeah, I'm talking about titties because everybody like titties.
I've actually heard that song.
Yeah, damn right, and it's true. And so, like, who cares? Boebert had a nice rack.
Well, not
if she was a Democrat, they'd all be jerking off to it secretly and thinking about ways for their male feminist ass to rape her.
Well, not one. Well, I mean,
he went too far.
No, I don't think. I mean, that's true.
Max is in his element. I'm the fucking inheritor of shock jock, motherfucker, because the shit that I say offends the left and the right, and Sam too.
Yeah,
because we think about things for 5 seconds.
So part of the reason why I was posting so many centerfolds on Twitter back in the day was when it was when people were more like grandstanding Trump for like
right.
For like at least he was open about it, unlike Anthony Weiner, who was like trying to deny that he was a creep. And
Isn't it weird that we had Anthony Weiner, who was a creep, and now we have Scott Weiner, who's quite obviously a creep? What is it about Wieners? I guess if your name is Wiener, maybe you just get obsessed with them.
I mean,
you hear it all the time. It's like Wiener, 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 Wiener.
I mean,
like, you ever see the South Park where they parodied like Game of Thrones, and the song they did was like Wiener, 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 Wiener. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
that's like that guy's life, though. Think about it, because his name is Wiener.
Well, that was the funny thing.
Can't help but be a sex pervert. He was marked from birth, baby. He is Wiener.
Well, that was.
And then he had to send his wiener.
Yeah, well, that was the funny thing was when Andrew Breitbart wrote like an expose on that whole thing. I mean, the story just basically wrote itself. It was too good, basically.
Right.
So.
Right on.
But yeah, no. Well, the other thing I'd like to point out with the Lauren Boebert thing is the media was also blowing up and magnifying the footage too. Like I saw I actually saw the footage of like
hold on, I got one. In moral defense of Lauren Boebert, you ready? I got a short one for you. This is good. If I have faith that if Lauren Boebert gets knocked up, she's not going to abort it. There's my moral defense.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right about that too. So.
If it happens on camera, that's kind of a shame. But what again? Like, why is there a night vision camera trained on her all night? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I get she might have acted inappropriately in a public place, but like that's still weird. And we got that. By the way, we still don't have footage, okay, of a plane hitting the Pentagon on 9/11. Okay, we don't have all the footage of January 6th, and it even took years and years to get most of the shit. But we got Lauren Boobs' titty getting groped. In HD, zoomed right the fuck in so you could see the nipple protrude, right? And you wanted to just squeeze. Never mind. Anyway, and she's rubbing up on his dick like they about to get busy. Totally. But why can't we get the fucking footage of the fucking plane hitting the Pentagon?
Here's one. Why can't we get footage of Hunter Biden like hiding crack in the White House? Like the White you would think that the White House, being the White House, would have like all these security cameras.
Hold on, you would think like Hunter Biden would not do that, knowing the whole world has seen his laptop, right? But like it's too comical. We've slipped into another dimension. I'm telling you. Everybody on the internet is bots. Don't take anything fucking seriously.
Clown world, baby. We're living in clown world.
Vote Trump. If nothing else, if I've never sold you on policy with Trump, and as Sam knows, I'm a serious Trump policy wonk, actually, and I can talk that till I'm blue in the face. But if I haven't sold you on that, my elevator pitch is how fucked up are things, and how fucked up were things when he was president. And at the very least, he might throw a chaos monkey wrench in the works to all these stupid, evil people who think you're stupid and hate you. And that means if you're on the left too.
Yeah.
Fuck these people. Give them the finger one more time in grand, glorious fashion. Trump 2024, take America back. Just for once, let's have some fucking fun. Because Biden ain't no fun. Biden is funny, laughing at the fucking ridiculousness of it. But at the same time, it's a horror fun. Like as lolcows go, Biden's not a lolcow. He's a horror cow. Because what's going on fills you with a sense of existential dread. Because it's bad.
Yeah, no. It's funny to laugh at, it's funny to laugh at Biden memes, but it's not funny to laugh at grocery prices.
And these motherfuckers, I'm out there running. I'm trying to I recently showed my wife a kind of side by side of Sam Hyde from a few years ago to now, because he actually has a similar build to me too. Interestingly enough, he's a big, tall dude. He's a little older than me. And he's in way fucking better shape than me. And I say this means that this is achievable. So what the fuck am I doing, right? I'm trying to get a home gym now, Sam, because I ain't been strength training since my gym. Sorry. I shouldn't use that as a negative, huh?
No. Believe me, a lot of the fags I know.
I'm a 2000, like I graduated high school in 2002, ladies and gentlemen. So like I'm a product of my time, and we always said that shit. And it's only recently that the same people preaching against it would say it more than me.
Listen, listen, you know me. I always tell faggot in our Discord to stop being a faggot.
True. That's the name he wants to go by. No, but he's proud of himself, and that's why I love him. He knows what he is. He's more.
Yeah. Well,
and gentlemen out there, you want to make fun of a guy like him, that may or may not have had sexual relations with a gentleman. He's out there. He's physically fit. He has dedicated himself to the Lord. He is like one of the most fine, upstanding, honest, and real gentlemen I know, and I've known him for a very long time.
If you have a problem with too,
if you have a problem with faggot, you kind of have a problem with all of us, like Shmuley and shit. Like he's down since day one, motherfucker. Real recognize real.
And I mean Shmuley. It's funny that some people think that Shmuley is my protege because they're not far off. Shmuley is kind of like the younger, able-bodied me. A little bit,
but he's actually my protege, and that's been true for a long time. But he's also his own man, and he goes off and he does stuff. And sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I question if he's making the right decision. But you know what? More often than not, he surprises me, and he surprises our audience. Sometimes he says some stupid shit to get them riled up, and other times he pokes at their fucking thinking cap. You know, and that's why I love this motherfucker. He's got big things ahead of him. That Shmuley.
Yeah.
Even if the Shmuley thing goes away and he reemerges somewhere else and you guys in the audience don't even know about it, I'll tell you this. I think as a guy that's known him on the internet for a long fucking time, he got big things ahead of him. Except I just question his judgment, but then it works out. So maybe I'm just stupid. I'm just a boomer stuck in my ways, you know?
Yeah, and I mean I mean, and that's kind of that
I
thing
just
too.
call,
Is
and that's true. I just call. Do you take me as seriously as fucking a pinch of salt, right? Because I'm an old guy and I'm cranky, and I don't like to work with children. And I like men who can take care of themselves and do something. And women do too. That's the thing. Women like that too. That you have some confidence, not just in like how you present yourself or talk to women, but like in how you carry yourself in everyday life. What is your prospects? What are you doing? What could you be doing? Could you do better? You should care about that yourself anyway, right? And then if all the better that when you start to follow that trend, they're going to be women that look at you, and some of them are looking at dollar signs. Don't ever fucking doubt that. You got to be able to sort out. That's why I say the practice girl, right? To bring it all back, old school style, long bit. Practice girl teaches you how to fucking look for those signs, because some of them practice girls, it can be a scandalous hoe that's looking to get your money. And there's one thing I'll say, gentlemen, you don't want them to get your hooks in you for as our former anti-Semite. By the way, Kanye is going to be a rabbi. Did you hear that?
wait. So Kanye's going Jewish now? That's like the greatest bit ever.
He already converted to Judaism. Now he's qualifying for his rabbi certificate.
That Kanye is like the living is literally the living version of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So
Something, right? But he said the man once said, the rabbi, the good rabbi Kanye of Westham or whatever, fucking Yay, Rabbi Yay, fucking said 18 years. You know what I'm saying, gentlemen? So you be careful. Take precautions for that particular incident, and otherwise, if you're not investing in a marriage, your money is your money. But I will say, if you're gonna take a woman, if you're taking her seriously, maybe you do spend a little bit of money. I get that the economy is rough right now.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Max. I'm getting feedback in my earpiece from Shmuley that he is in fact not like me. He's like Kurt Doolittle.
He's
So
like Kurt Doolittle mixed with God, it's a good old look. Andy Kaufman.
yeah.
But and Sam Hyde, there's a bit of that in me and him and our whole little crew, because we've been following that guy forever. You know, he's a interesting cat, but we have our own style. We're a little like weird. Some people seem to like it with me and you anyway. That's good. And Shmuley comes on and just blows people's minds and brings Kurt Doolittle with him, who he says he's like, and that's fair. I think we do a good job of explaining some of Kurt Doolittle's philosophy in a way that people are going to understand, because a bit of his like the whole point is like this economic operational language, which is creating a framework for people on the right to speak about issues in a similar manner, like morally, as the SJWs do. And that's kind of a heavy concept, right? And a lot of people don't follow it because he uses very precise language. And a lot of it, if you're like an average reading level, like most people are, even college students, it's going to be way above your head, because this is a guy, you had him on, you know what I mean? He's a very intelligent man. He's one of the smartest people I've ever interacted with, for sure. And I will say, Smoothie being like him is a fair assessment. And that's high praise. And he's feeding off of the praise. So I'm going to call him a fucking idiot and say, I question your decisions, young man.
What
I shake my finger at thee.
What my favorite bit is when people my favorite thing is when people say, "Oh, well, you're just copying from Dennis Miller and his comedic style."
Yeah, he's a fucking influence. It's okay to have influence, right?
And I just go, no, but the funny thing is they expect me to get like all defensive, and I'm like, yes, absolutely 100%. I'm not stealing any of his jokes per se, but yeah, like the pop culture references thing, I certainly do. And also his interview style.
For me personally, I give George Carlin credit. I have a personal anecdote about that that's kind of funny. third grade or fourth grade, and then fifth grade, I had these George Carlin tapes, and I would listen to him. Right, some of
Ooh.
his really yeah, there was some good physical Sam comedy right there, ladies and gentlemen. Right in the the top of your dome like hit the camera, didn't it?
No, I actually did.
Because it wobbled. That was
Oh,
good.
it
That's
might
good.
have.
Somebody clip that. It's great. Merch will be like, ha 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 ha. Yeah, joke's on you.
Yeah, Mersh, who is now like constantly vaping on its stream. So
Hey, I'm not gonna get into it, Shmuley. Yeah, I don't want to air you out on air, bro. Come on, you guys can't say that in the chat. I'm just saying, I wag my finger at thee. That's all I said. I can keep. Yeah. You come on then. You have the link. What sayeth thou,
you know what,
my friend?
we'll just
I
call
probably
him.
should stop smoking blunts during the show, Sam. I'm sorry.
Well, you're not you're not a fag about it though. Mersh is.
Yeah, I mean that's all it is.
You're not the
Hold up. Let me shout out the sponsors, fucking Mids. You get like a half for like $30 because it's legal and it's looking good.
Well,
And at night, and the wife's supposed to take care of the boy, and I'm gonna chastise her because he came down here. But actually, usually he comes down to me first if it's video games. To be fair, apologies, chat. I feel like my son just got voice doxed. Oh well. I try to keep him private. He's a good boy though.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just asking for his video game to be fixed. Fair enough, right? Can't help that.
Yeah, they're not going to pinpoint your location based off his voice.
Right.
So
Our friend saw reason. Moving along. What else did we have? I'm still good. I'm good, man.
Any more? You mentioned earlier this week.
Podcast one.
Yeah, that you have more info. We kind of touched on the podcast one thing a little bit last week, but you said you have more info on it this week. So.
Yeah, it's more like a merger between several companies, right? It's really complicated. First broke, as far as I was brought aware of it, was Jim Cornette, because I like wrestling in an old school fashion. And yeah, AEW marks who were around a while ago might have some choice words about my opinions of that and of women's wrestling in particular. But the fact of the matter is Jim Cornette is entertaining, and I've been watching him since I was a little kid, watching the Midnight Express, bro. And he had the first real big wrestling podcast. And so, and his politics is fucking shit. He talks about Donald Trump. I turn it off because he's fucking retarded. But anyway, he was on this company called Cast Media, but he wasn't on a contract. They got him advertisements, and he would do ad reads. And he's a very entertaining guy, so they're some of the funniest ad reads ever. Because half the time he just makes fantastical, ridiculous, insane claims, and his co-host is just like, "No, that's not it at all. They don't like make you magical." You know what I mean? Because it's Jim Cornette, and he's been bullshitting on the radio or commentary or whatever, and he's funny on his feet. And but so they Colin S. Thompson of Cast Media was stopped paying them after a while for the ad reads, but kept having them do ad reads. And the money, at first it would come in late, and then it never came in at all. And then further than that, Theo Vaughn has now come forward with a similar comedian, Theo Vaughn. I just saw him recently on a podcast where he had Roseanne on, and it was really funny.
Yeah.
He was getting fucked by the same Colin S. Thompson for the same thing, ad reads, right? Basically, they just stopped paying out their ad read money. The sponsors were paying him. All his job was to do was to organize the sponsors to send what they wanted and send the money, and he'd send it to them. 80-20 split, right? Easy. But he spent all the fucking money. He bought a house for, coincidentally enough, $1.7 million. You know how much he owes Theo Vaughn? I think it was $1.6 million. And so now what's happened is, are you aware of CoffeeZilla, YouTuber?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, he does a lot of investigative scam stuff, real in depth. Now CoffeeZilla has done a video about it, because what the scam was is, after they spent all the money and didn't pay them, they told all of these podcasters of varying sizes, some of them very big followings, making lots of money hand over fist, you aren't going to get paid unless you sign a deal with this new merger we're doing with Podcast One. The new company is going to be called Live One. Okay. And we'll give you pre-IPO stock. For any non-business people out there, IPO means an initial offering, essentially, right? And it's initial primary offering, I think. And that means the stock isn't on the stock market yet. It will be, and you get it before it goes on the stock market. Now, they valuated the stock at $8 a share, okay? This is what the news is, basically, to sum it up. All these people, some of them took the deal, and like, no shade on anybody but who took the deal. But Podcast One as a company has a bad reputation, not necessarily because of the podcast shows on it. Some of them are good. Some talented people work there, and no shade on anybody who needs to put food on the table and pay the bills. And they took this deal because they're hoping they're going to get paid. Okay. But Jim Cornette, Theo Vaughn, and several, Whitney Cummings, I think Sarah Silverman's on there, have come out and said, yeah, this guy fucked us of money. And so what's happened is, when CoffeeZilla did the video, it was the same day that IPO hit the market, okay? Valuated at $8 a share initially. Now, mind you, the deal offered to these podcasters was that for 2 years, they have to hold the stock too. They can't just sell it. The IPO right now, I believe, is worth like $2.25, a quarter of its initial value already, because of all this bad publicity. Because it's like shining light on basically these predatory podcast scams. And so I know there's a portion of our audience who do some form of live streaming or content creation. And I think that they should be aware that there's people out there that are offering to facilitate you fucking ad reads. And these people will go fuck you. And we're talking, this guy fucked them to the tune of 6 and 7 figures. And now this is all allegedly, of course, because there are going to be lawsuits and court cases. Jim Cornette is certainly, and Brian Last, his co-host, I have to give him credit, because this was more his thing. Jim Cornette's not the business guy, right? Brian Last is the business guy of the show. That's why he's the co-host, right? He's not a wrestler or anything like that. He's a media guy. I think he worked for Sony and stuff. If I remember correctly, he was an executive over at Sony, and he's just known Jim Cornette his whole life, and so he can make a podcast, right? And he knows how to get sponsors and shit. And he thought this was so he's a seasoned executive businessman, and he fell for the scam. So I just want people to be aware that people offering you ad reads to facilitate that money to you might not have your best interests at heart, young content creators. And the best way to really get through everything is to do it yourself. And that's kind of hard. And that's what we're doing here. That's why Sammy's over here plugging the book.
Yeah,
I have to step away and take care of my kid, because that book's kind of where we're going. I think we've been upfront about monetization of the show. The only thing we've done ever, you sell a product and you had like donations, but you don't really shill it. It's not like our primary focus.
I did show the donations thing.
At one point, yeah, but that's not been our thing lately.
Well, I did show a bit while you were fixing your son's video game.
No, I think it's good. I think
I mean, the thing it is by all means, folks, if you do want to donate, hit the you can hit the super chat button on Rumble. We really appreciate that. What I hate is when streamers mention it like every 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. I recently saw a story, and I'm not sure if it's real or not.
The other thing too,
it was a parent, and the child says to the parent as they're going to sleep, like, I love you, like, comment, and subscribe, because they think that's what you say, like, at the end, like a going, like, goodbye.
Yeah.
That's how fucking crazily ubiquitous this bullshit. That's why I say turn this shit off. You listen to us, of course. Of course, every moment of the Sam Whitfield report, you should savor it because that's some of your few precious screen time throughout the week. And we thank you for your listening enjoyment. However, get out there, go get a practice girl, go fucking camping, go fishing, do some man shit. Stop letting the soy boys fucking hold you down. Just be your fucking self. You don't have to be me. I'm 2002 kid, so I'm too edgy and I say like F slurs and retard, and that gets me in trouble.
I'm like a 2007, 2008 kid, so I'm also kind of ancient at this point. But
oh yeah, and like Starfield, like the performance could be better, but it's like it's fun game, and like people make too big deal out of it. And I also bet you Spider-Man 2 is going to be a fun game for the PlayStation fanboys.
By the way,
that's just a banner good time for everybody, right?
My first royalty check from my book is actually going to help pay off my credit card, which I used to pre-order that. So
based.
So there you go. No, I do want to point out because people, in regards to the whole podcast, one thing are like, oh, so what if Sarah Silverman and Jim Cornette they have money, they're millionaires, what do they need ad money for? Well,
right, but we don't even know about the much smaller podcasts, and like this could happen to like this could happen to us if we weren't careful, right?
Even so, right? I hate this mentality that just because like you're a celebrity and you already have like
you were gonna
millions.
I said I'm 2002. What was your year gonna be? Because you were gonna say it.
2008.
2008. Shmuley says he's 2016. I think that's a pretty. But then he said 20. He's been doing Zoomer talking. I'm gonna kill him. He said 2016 vibes. Earlier he was on God for real, no capping me, and I swear to God, Shmuley, fuck you. Don't you do that fucking ironic Zoomer shit at me, boy. We have words. God damn it. You're gonna drive me crazy with that shit. You're gonna get one of them floppy ass haircuts and look like a
fucking. And also, Shmuley, I know
Chad why Zoomer blabs. Yeah.
Also, Shmuley, I know exactly why Elon yelling at his wife is hilarious. I know exactly why it's hilarious. I want to know if you know why I know it's hilarious.
But do you know what I know that you know? That I know that you know.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I know. So.
Yeah, no. Yeah, don't take things so goddamn serious.
Well, and unless you're Mersh, in which case, you know.
Well, then everything is serious. Look at the state of that man. You want to talk about? It's like you say, oh, I might be crippled, but like even on the show, you're mostly dressed fucking fresh to death, bro. Like you put some thought into what you wear, and I take it you do that out in public too. I'm over here. I wear t-shirts. I got a plain work t-shirt with a pocket on it because I'm fucking old.
And
sometimes it's band t-shirts. They get me these weird ones from Walmart that have like sayings on them, but sometimes like I had to tell my wife, like some of them, like I get why it's funny. It's like I said extra fries, not extra size. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm trying to lose my fucking weight. And I feel like that slaps myself in the face, man. I don't want people to think I'm a big fat lazy asshole. I'm just a big fat asshole, but I'm getting better about the fat, not the asshole. Clearly, as evidenced by Your Honor, as evidenced by the previous hour and 49 minutes of the show, I'm clearly not getting better as an asshole.
Well,
have I made a 9/11 joke this week?
Well, and for me,
does that count?
Well, I mean,
we got to quote all these things now.
9/11 is
isn't September like 3,000 people died Remembrance Month? We're supposed to revel in the fucking chaos, you know? We're supposed to watch those
well,
videos of people jumping off the roof and be
well,
like,
no,
"Oh my god, that's so horrible," and
well, no, the
live
the new
vicariously through the violence that we're not allowed to experience in society because we're primitive ass cavemen? Or am I getting too philosophical for my own good?
Well, no, the new thing, Max, is we're all supposed to cry about January 6th and say that that's somehow worse than
Worse,
9/11.
yeah, worse than the guy jumping off the building, bro. That I am not gonna lie, that was the most metal shit I ever saw. Was 9/11. Jesus.
Well, I mean,
You wanted to watch you wanted to watch fucking chaos. Watch 3,000 people die.
9/11 was an actual fucking tragedy, though, right?
Oh, no doubt.
Like no doubt about that. These people who are saying that January 6th was worse than 9/11 is an insult to
Yeah, well,
people
that
who
hold
died.
on, but it's true because, like, look, that one guy held up a lectern. That's just as bad as watching a guy jump off a building.
Oh, right.
Because given the option between burning alive, crumbling with the building, or shit. Oh no, what happened there?
StreamYard refreshed, I guess.
The
So
magic of Macintosh in action.
no, more like the magic of Verizon Internet
Beast.
in action.
Yeah.
Sorry, Verizon, you can't cancel us yet. So
We're not cancelable because, like, we do this for fun.
we made
And then we go off and live life. Like, even talking behind the scenes is not like a lot of like y'all motherfuckers out there. I know y'all. I see y'all in Discord all day. Yeah, we ain't even doing that. We send messages back. You could join the conversation over at Mike Discord or Sammy's. And really have fun, wonderful. Like Shmuley's sending us 9/11, 7/11 jokes right now. If you want to engage in some 9/11 jokes, join the Gilded. There's a sales pitch. Maybe next time we could tackle the Holocaust. Who knows?
Oh, geez. Then we probably really would be canceled.
What do you mean? Why would you get canceled over that? You think the Jews can't take a joke? They make all the best Holocaust jokes anyway.
No, they do.
Any joke you make about the Holocaust is probably ripping off a Jew, and if it's not, it's probably bad. It's probably not even funny.
I mean, I could make some BLM jokes. Heck, but what would be even funnier is if I invite my friend Nashwell to come on and do BLM jokes. So
I mean, we're banned in the UK now, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Base. Well, like vicariously though.
Well, wait. So
like by osmosis of we're on Rumble and Rumble's banned in the UK.
So if we're all vicariously banned in the UK on Rumble, does that mean that we also vicariously allegedly molested 2 girls vicariously?
Whoa, what's going on here, Sammy? This came out of left field. Could you repeat that?
No, I'm just saying, like, if
I've not vicariously molested anybody, sir.
neither have I, but that's what the UK is claiming of Russell Brand, right?
Oh, I just got concerned by what you said there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you missed what I was saying, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I got scared. I was like, "Oh, now we are gonna get canceled." Holy shit, Sam!
I'm not saying we did anything, but if we want to take it to its logical conclusion, right? The fact that we're all getting vicariously censored because of because of not even guilt by
Bro,
association.
I've mooned so many people.
Oh my god.
Just feel like I should share that, right? Like that's a
Well,
thing, man.
that basically means that you're, just like Russell Brand then in the eyes of some people, I guess.
Drive by moon. My big white ass stands out too, right? It glows in the dark, motherfucker.
Right?
Kiss my fucking
Wait, wait,
ass. Ah.
wait. So maybe that's what what's his face was screaming about glow in the dark. In the dark.
Maybe it's my white ass, my Irish ass. Look,
Maybe Terry A. Davis was saying that you glow in the dark. So
I make no apologies for being a man and a man of my era. And
nor
that included like gripping my nuts. That included like stupid shit. I got autographs from a titties that started a riot. I think I told the story on the show before, right? She her titties caused the police to overreact and beat her up, which caused a bunch of people to beat up the police and caused a riot. And then I saw her later and I was like, hey, you're the titties that started the riot. Can I get your autograph? And I kept that shit for years. It was like, and she gave me her phone number. I talked to her later.
Titty Riot sounds like a
Titty Riot,
punk
baby.
rock band. That sounds like a
Yeah.
punk rock band or something
Yeah.
like that.
And you can Puritan judge me, but like I had fun and I'm like a pure, faithful husband these days. But I had my period where I was a little wild. And then there's been wild shit that I wanted no part of. I could tell some stories that I think would get us banned, quite honestly.
Look,
about
Matt,
giant, oversized Heineken bottles.
Look, Max is such a Boy Scout that he won't even allow like gore or nudity in the gilded server.
No gore, no porn, and don't piss me off to the point I have to ban you. Like
and don't fed post. So
yeah, because why would you do that, idiot? We're all improving ourselves. So that's the thing. We have a little sheltered ass community, right? Let's just chilling out, trying to like make money and lose weight and fucking do good for ourselves and read books. And y'all motherfuckers are out here crying about Lauren Boebert. Get a fucking life, bro. Touch grass.
Touch grass. Stop looking at fear porn too.
Did I mention Starfield? I like Starfield. I think it's pretty good. It runs all right on the 360. If you put up with 30 FPS, it looks pretty nice, but I can't play a game like that. And then the Steam Deck, I can kind of play 30 FPS on the Steam Deck because they're small. But it doesn't quite hit 30 FPS. And that's like one of my few actual complaints with Starfield, because basically it's Fallout 4 in space, bro. And the other thing is, fuck Todd Howard saying, oh, you should upgrade your rig. The graphics, in my honest estimation, don't like necessitate that, because it literally doesn't look that much better than Fallout 4, which is a very old game at this point. I get it. It's open big spaces. I like that kind of shit because I like the mission structure in Fallout anyway. I'll follow a whole bunch of side quests and get lost in a game for a very long time because I don't get very much time to play a game these days. As the world turns, you get older, you can't spend a bajillion hours on a game, you know?
Right.
That's why I got a Steam Deck. And it's a shame that the Starfield doesn't run better on it, because otherwise it's a good game and I'd like to play more of it in the more comfortable settings for me. Like if it ran 60 FPS on Xbox, I'd probably be playing it as soon as I got off the show on my couch, all comfy on a big screen 4K TV, but it runs at 30, and that kind of makes me ill because I'm used to 60.
Well, yesterday you and I were talking with Morpheus about Cyberpunk 2077.
And that objectively looks better, okay, than Starfield. I don't care what anybody says. It's an objectively, you look at Bethesda's goofy ass faces, they're all over Starfield, bro. It's their trademark that they're all lumpy and weird. Keanu Reeves looked like fucking Keanu Reeves, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that shit runs like a dream on the Steam Deck, by the way, at more than 30 frames per second.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, I know people love to shit on. I know people love to say, oh well, Cyberpunk still had a bunch of bugs at launch.
Sure did, bro.
As Akaba pointed out before he left the show, the important thing is they fucking fixed all of that shit. So,
Right on.
and by the way, I don't know.
So you getting Spider-Man 2? I know you're like a PlayStation boy. I just shit on PlayStation in a post like for your friend Nash. I don't know if you saw that. It was a picture of a PlayStation in a bathtub, and it said, "I can't." Well, he cheated on me, so I did this or whatever. And I was like, "What did she do? Taking a shit in his tub?"
I did see that. I hope he's watching because I think that went over his head a bit. So I don't think he actually realized that you were shitting on PlayStation. So
Hey, I literally own like everything but PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? Well, no, I don't own a Switch either.
well, see, here's the thing though, Max, is I'm not one of those console war guys. I'm kind of like, that's gay. If you like
Yeah, but it was a good line.
No, it was. Honestly, I think the fact that
Sometimes the punchline supersedes all, you know? Just to be a dick.
I'm actually going to piss off. I'm actually going to piss off some of my PlayStation boys with what I'm about to say, which is that the Insomniac Spider-Man game should not be an exclusive. It should be open to all platforms. Why? Because it's the best interpretation of Spider-Man we've had in years, and it's a shame that only a portion of the population.
Sony started the exclusive war shit, and now they got owned with Starfield. And I see the Sony fanboys coping, but it is a good game, and it is worth like a Game Pass subscription that I can play it in like multiple platforms, and it's like a fun game that I'm going to sink like 100 hours into easily, you know. And it'll be modded out, and it has these big. They knew that. See, a lot of the complaint is about how there's these big open spaces, right? But what do you think modders are going to do with like a whole planet? You know what I mean? And like an infinite building system, and it's basically Skyrim. So it's modding tools they've been working for years. They already have like a Starfield UI, like a version of the Sky UI mod, which is the basis for like all in the script extender. So like they can do basically everything already with Starfield, and give the modders time. It'll be fun. Is it worth fucking $70 for me to play? No, I play it on Game Pass though, so it's worth it. Sony kind of got to take the L on that one, whether they like it or not. But then they got Spider-Man, and that's kind of an L if you're an Xbox fan. See, I don't like exclusives for that very reason. But no, Microsoft didn't start that war. They just have bigger pockets.
Yeah, I don't, and that's what I'm saying. I don't like the exclusives either.
Because they own like everything. If you think about it, they own Doom. They own like fucking everything, like all kinds of IP. That could be completely exclusive. And then they're gonna own Call of Duty and all that shit, Candy Crush, right?
Although someone pointed out that the reason why someone just pointed out that the reason why Insomniac Spider-Man is a PlayStation exclusive is because Sony as a company owns the rights to Spider-Man entirely.
Yes. And also, Insomniac is a second-party studio, which is not quite a third party and not quite a first party, obviously, by the name. But it's basically they're partially owned by Sony. They could Destiny had this deal with before they went independent too, where it's like you can go independent, so it's kind of a second party.
Oh, Oh, Destiny the game. I thought you meant Destiny the lid.
No, the game. Like Bungie. Yeah, Bungie had a clause where they were owned by another company, that being Microsoft. But then eventually when they finished up that contract, they could go independent. That's kind of second party or first. You could call it first party while they're owned, right? And that's what the Sony deal is with Insomniac. They fund it, right? And that's cool. They make these big budget games. The fucking Spider-Man games are good. But yeah, you started that exclusive war. Now Xbox has some bangers. Redfall was a flop, though. I have to admit that. I hated that shit right out the gate. It was dumb. I was sad, too. Because, like, scary vampires instead of zombies? Sure, why not? Let's have some fun. It was a Game Pass game. That is a benefit, though, the Game Pass games, because I, like, have very little investment. So it's okay to say Starfield's all right. Maybe it's not for everybody, but if you like a Bethesda game, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
bugs and all. Smarmy Todd promising shit that doesn't end up panning out and everything, you know?
I'm hoping the RoboCop game actually does.
It looks pretty baller, doesn't it?
Does well, and supposedly, I mean, I've from the trailers it looks good. And I mean the fact that they got Peter Weller to come back is cool.
It captures the aesthetic.
Yeah, for sure.
It does look a little slow, and that's been a complaint, but RoboCop would be.
Yeah, literally. I think
he's calculating and lining up his shots because he doesn't care if you shoot him and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and also like in the movies and whatnot, he always walks slow, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's the point.
It's like the sound effects from the movie for his footsteps and shit. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I just hope it turns out to be good because I think that's done actually by a smaller studio. But, if I'm not mistaken.
If we don't have anything else, I actually kind of gotta dip out.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything else. Let me just check the chat to make sure no one has anything.
Ask broads out. Go on dates, gentlemen.
Yeah, ask. Oh, do we have any? It's been a while since we've done a giveaway. Do we have any?
I don't have access, but then I promise I'll do 2 codes next week.
Yeah, well, because someone was asking about that, and yeah, we don't want to do giveaways every week, but it's been long enough. We could probably do a giveaway next week, so tune in.
I severely depleted my codes over time.
Yes, you did. So.
Okay, I am signing off, Sam. You have a good week.
Thank you, Max, and to you, chat. Have a good rest of your week as well. We'll see you on the next episode. From all of us here at NGC Studios, God bless, God save this great nation, God, freedom, democracy in that order, and I'll see you on the next show. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to The Whitfield Report on the NGC Network. Please visit Sam's website at www.thesamwhitfield.com and support Sam on Patreon at patreon.com/Whitfield Report. Until next time, God bless, God save this great nation, and God, freedom, legacy, in that order.